Yo, how's it going? Yo, Aaron, how's it going, man? Yo, Corvée, thanks for the tier one. I appreciate it. How's everyone doing? You've got a surprise for me? What's the surprise? 13 months? Holy shit. Yo, thanks so much for the 13 months, man. Holy shit. Damn, that's so long, man. Yo, thanks for the 13 months of support. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's right. I'm back to streaming at your time, Aaron. Were you here during the? You weren't here for the first stream with this, right? You watched the vid? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you guys can't hear the music, right? Like, you guys can just hear my voice. The music? Alright, cool. Yeah, because we upload these to YouTube, and these are sponsored by Autodesk. So we have to own the rights to everything we're doing. So that's why we have no music. So yeah, as you guys can see, the stream is sponsored by Autodesk. And for people that weren't here on Saturday, I'll give you a quick recap of what we're doing. So we're doing a series of 10 streams, about 3 hours each, and like 30 hours isn't really that long to make a production asset. So kind of what we're doing is we're simulating a very tight deadline where we start with the production model and we try and reuse as much of the production model as we can. So I used my original design, which you guys saw at the start of the stream, and the red stuff is stuff that's still left over from the concept, and the white are things we've taken and converted from the concept mesh or rebuilt, and then we are using the kit to also save time as well. You want the golden cube? You gotta chill for to get 12 months. My voice is like liquid gold in your ear holes. I wouldn't go that far. I think John has a much nicer voice. But yeah, this is where we're at so far. So this is what we did in our first 3-hour stream. We took our original concept mesh, we gave it a different shader, put it as a separate layer so we can hide it whenever we want. We took elements of the concept mesh that we can reuse, and we broke them off into like left and right groups. So this is pretty much what we took. This stuff is all kitbashed. This stuff we kind of reused, and we lowered the poly count. Then we cut in the panels based on where is it? Based on the concept art I had. Yeah, here we go. So we did the paneling based on the paneling I did for my concept, and yeah, that's it so far. Going pretty well so far. This is kind of like a simulation of like what we do in the film industry. Does it have moving parts? Not really. You could argue like these things move, but probably a little bit, nothing too much. So yeah, for the next 8 streams after this one, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be trying to finish it to like a production ready level. So this kind of is a pretty good simulation of what it is like at work. Like trying to save as much time as you can by using like parts of pre-existing assets and trying to convert parts of the concept mesh for your own use, stuff like that. How much is Kitbash was modeled of the new stuff so far? The only Kitbash stuff is that and these bits so far. These things we're kind of stealing. We stole from the concept mesh So this bit here used to be very simple. It used to be this. So the concept mesh looked like this. We stole that, and then we kind of cleaned it up a bit, made it, you know, triple edge, and then made it sub D. Yo, Channelboy, how's it going, man? The concept mesh is the red one, yeah. So say for example, I find something I like and I want to use. I'll just simply grab it, put it into my like group I want, and then change the shader to gray. But I usually do this quite a lot when I'm working. So I have a very like obvious visual representation of what is a concept mesh and what is my like cleaner mesh. Yo, John, how's it going, man? Oh, when objects are selected, do you talk about these? So these edges are my creased edges. So I use them. So what I do is I use creasing as a way of kind of visualizing my panels before I cut them. Yeah, I did the concept as well. Yo, Von Buki and Kim Kim, thanks for the follow. You guys will notice we don't have notifications on either because we're trying to be more like professional and stuff. What I might do, I might straighten this out a bit more as well. Yo, Rudin, thanks for the follow. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you hold a shift while you insert an edge loop, it'll continue the curve, which is super handy. Oh, this is the end gun, so that's why it didn't work. What's going to be the next level above the golden cube? I don't know. We got to figure that out. What do you guys think should be above the golden cube? What are those? What is what? The tesseract diamond? The golden engon. Jesus. So I kind of want more edge loops to kind of simulate this. So I'm probably going to subdivide this. So what I might do is I might kind of like even out some of the stuff. So getting rid of some of these. All of this can get deleted, I guess. Control knife the edge loop? Yeah, it's that's a normal thing as well. It's just because I've been using Maya before that was a thing. So I'm just used to using insert edge loop. It's just simply what I'm used to. Like it's not necessarily like inferior or better, it's just simply what I've gotten used to over time. But yeah, it's a bit too low poly. I kind of want some more edge loops. I might just up. The seams do anything to the mesh or just hold the lines? Are you talking about these hard edges? They just hold the lines at the moment. You'll see like when I smooth it, it doesn't move. That's what we want. Yeah, I don't know if we'll do UVs. We'll see, maybe. It'll depend like how much we get done and how fast things go. Like things I do duplicate, I do UV automatically anyway. Just so like just in case. But that's gonna move a bit, but that's fine. We can fix that later. So I'll do this quite a lot. Like I'll block out like the basic shape pretty simple. and then I'll subdivide it once, and then like this will be my new base shape now. So I do that quite often. Do I think I'll continue this on my own after the 30 hours? No, the intention is to try and finish it within the 30 hours. So that is kind of a pretty accurate thing of what happens like in the industry. Like we do sometimes get very limited time to the point that I mean, we could just keep detailing things forever, but we have to, there's a budget obviously. So usually we have to kind of pick our battles of what to detail most. That's kind of what we're simulating here with this. So I've given myself a deadline of 30 days. No, not 30 days, 30 hours, and we're going to see how much we can do of it. Yo, how's it going? Yeah, 30 days isn't that long at all. But we'll see what we can do. We also don't need this. And we don't need this visible. I'm also going to get my kit and put that as a separate layer. We don't need that visible either. And we also don't need the red man visible. He can chill for a bit. What is a typical time to build something like Hero like this? Like maybe 3 weeks to a month, probably closer to a month, I think. But we're gonna try and do it. We're gonna try to do it in 1 week for some reason. But like, keep in mind with that sort of stuff is like that also includes things like, you know, like feedback and stuff like that. But since I'm kind of the director on this thing, it doesn't. I can make the feedback up myself. That makes sense. But especially like as we get much further down, that's, oh, that doesn't look so good. Especially as we get like much further along in the days, that's when we'll decide like how, like where we need to cut the corners. At the moment, I'm picking like the easiest like things we definitely have to do. Like for example, the paneling. The paneling for sure we need. That's just, of course, we need the paneling. It's more like as far as details and stuff, we will decide later. And it also depends on like the shot context of what you're making as well. Like say for example, if we knew we wouldn't see this from the back, then we could put less, you know, detail and effort into the back. Alright, so this was in the left group before, but now I've put it in the middle. So I'm just going to drop it up to the center group. So I always keep it very clear what can be flipped left and right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm gonna try. Like, I'm aware I have a very tight deadline with this, so of course I'm gonna feel maybe slightly different these streams compared to the usual streams because I'm gonna be obviously focusing on getting the work done and walking and stuff like that. Yo, Lucas, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Yo, you guys should check out Lucas as well. He's a an artist at DNEG with me. He started streaming yesterday, so I definitely give him a follow. What are you guys talking about? Are you expected to UV or texture? Is that another department? So as far as UV goes, that's dependent on the studio. Texturing is usually a different artist though. It's not a different department, it's just a different artist. So yeah, depending on which I think for sure like modelers should know how to UV anyway. Because like most studios usually the modeler does UVs and texture artists like it if you don't screw them over with bad UVs. Yeah, give Lucas a follow. He's a badass creature, dude. So if you have ZBrush questions, definitely ask him, not me. I don't know ZBrush. Look, dev should make the UVs. Oh, why is that screwing up? Yeah, Lucas, you can plug all your like ArtStation stuff as well if you want. Oh, this isn't good. Yeah, he did a lot of the kaiju stuff for Pacific Rim. Yeah. Yeah, how did you find streaming, man? Oh, what am I doing? Oh, you found his ArtStation already. Sick. Channel. You like the interaction? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Especially like when COVID first hit, like everyone was stuck at home, so it's kind of cool, like still talking to people in some way. Yo, Lucas actually likes Blender, but like everyone else in the industry, he says it's not ready yet. No mentioning Blender on Autodesk stream? Yeah, that's right. Well, we all know Maya is the industry standard. We even have the Maya industry standard logo in the chat. It's definitely gonna break a bit. Whatever. But yeah, right now we're just like focusing on the easy stuff, which is pretty much just the paneling. We're gonna do a lot of kitbashing stuff later to kind of like fill the gaps. Maya Master Race. Yeah, my favorite is the Maya logo with the sunglasses. That's why chat isn't on stream. Yeah, I didn't. We don't have the chat on the stream because I don't know if I could trust you guys to be nice. So the chat doesn't appear on the stream. Oh. This sort of stuff I'll fix later. At the moment, I'm just kind of like pumping out like the edges. Also, like if you triple edge panels and then you smooth the normals, it means you can see the panels without everything being like preview smooth, which is super cool. Yo, how's it going? You much prefer these? That's alright. It's all they're all different. They're all just different software. Oh, and this one's easy. Oh, I keep showing everyone. Oh, what? Whatever. We should start using creasing in production? I don't know about that, man. I came from using creasing in production at MPC and ILM, and eventually people weren't too happy about it. Like in theory, it sounds good in theory, but it causes problems. Like texture artists hate it because it makes it hard to texture the assets. There was times where like the creasing sets would just break. Like you'll see here, like when I cut something, it removed the crease. That sort of stuff causes a lot of problems. I use creasing as like a modeling tool, but I'm not sold on it as like a replacement for like fencing. Missed a question? You try to keep the triple edge spacing even throughout the model or depend on the mesh? I usually just do it by eye. I mean, you can keep it more consistent if you want. I usually don't really bother. I just do it by eye pretty much. Like if these are slightly different, it's not gonna be the end of the world. Usually like when it's textured anyway, you won't see it regardless. That's how they didn't do what I wanted. Yo, oh, sorry, I don't have notifications on, so I'm missing a lot of follows. Leonardo 3D, thanks for follow. And Rudin, thanks for follow. Yo, Bella, how's it going? I like being able to stream at this time again. Instead of only like streaming on the weekends, that was kind of annoying. You're hoping to start another gig by the end of the week or next? Awesome. Yeah, Lucas did his first stream yesterday. I don't know what his schedule is like though. What kind of problems can n-gons and tries create in production? I mean, tries aren't that big of a problem. I think, like, you definitely don't want things like n-gons on curved surfaces. Usually just like keeping things quads and consistent is usually the right way. In hard surface, like the mesh itself isn't as like important as like characters though. Things that need to deform a lot more. Like n-gons for us aren't as big of a deal compared to like, I'm sure Lucas can probably go more into that sort of stuff. Because they need to care way more about their topology because it deforms. Is there any... Oh, there's a panel there. Oh, there's a panel line here I missed. Whoops. I'm just gonna do that one by eye. Oh, okay, so it comes down here. Not a fan of that panel line. Yeah, like anytime you check something into a pipeline, it'll usually flag if it has n-gons anyway. So it's usually better just to be safer and just not have n-gons. I might just do this one here actually. Yeah, keeping things like clean and efficient isn't necessarily just for us as well. It's usually for like people down the pipeline. Jeez, we've already gone 30 minutes here already. Yep, I'm gonna refill my water. I'll be back in a sec. What kind of people down the pipeline have problems with n-gons? Usually like rigging and stuff. But I mean, like the golden kind of rule is like the nicer and cleaner your work is, no one complains. So if you just do your work like if clean and efficient from the start, it like saves it getting sent back to you. 'Cause that's the worst. When work constantly bounces back and forth and no one really gets to move on. Like the worst is when like a department later on expects your model by a date, they get it, it's broken, they can't do their work, they have to send it back. Then they have to sit there and wait for you to do your update before they can even start, and it kind of throws schedules out. So it's usually better just to be clean, like from the start. I might make this one usable. This will be a pretty easy one to deal with. Yeah, it's usually easier just to be clean from the start, and then people won't get annoyed. Like it's in your own best interest to work clean. Because like people, like it does become known. Like if you keep sending bad work, your supervisor will be aware that you have to keep sending the work back. Just gonna even this out a bit more. Yeah, and yeah. If you're a modeler and you do really nice like UVs for texture artists, they know they'll enjoy working with you. But if you just give them terrible UVs and make their life difficult, they'll they'll remember that as well. Yeah, like Lucas is about reputation. If you're known for delivering terrible work, like people talk. You don't want to be known for giving like crap work. And just because you do the work fast doesn't necessarily mean it's good either. Like you do need to maintain the quality to a certain degree. But yeah, at the moment, like I'm not being super, like since we're in early days, I'm not being too picky about my hierarchy. I'm just making sure things are kept in like left and center. So I know very easily like what I can just duplicate and transfer across. But yeah, for today we'll probably focus on like the easier things we definitely know we need, which is the paneling. Like underneath, we don't really have to worry too much about that sort of stuff. I can see the bottom looks kind of like the top, so maybe we can like steal some of the top and put it underneath. UVs are bad for your skin. So the solution is just to make sure people don't talk. Exactly. Just silence all your all the people channel. Yo, Paratutor and Prism Maya, thanks for the follows. Jesus channel. Yes, this is also another reason why I like doing like the paneling with creasing first, is I can visually see what the panels look like before I like invest my time and energy into cutting them. So yeah. And usually what I do is I just select the faces and just go extract face. And as soon as you do it once, you can just press G to repeat the function. Is there... Oh, that's one panel, isn't it? Oh, there's a cut here. Cut is just here. That'll be fine. Oh yeah, so also if you missed the last video, everything is going up onto YouTube. So you can always go check that out later if you missed the VOD. I'll deal with the triangles and stuff later. Yo, how's it going, EXP Mini? Is this just flat? In like the concept, we don't. Oh, I suppose we can see it. It's just flat. I don't like that bend though, so I'm just gonna straighten it out. Yeah, we're pretty good. Just subbed on YouTube. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't used my. I don't usually use my YouTube too much, but in the future I probably should. I'm just viewing all the panels at once, so I can kind of see that my edge loops will like flow into each other. This isn't like super important, but it's nice. It visually looks nice. As far as like dealing with triangles like this, we could either just like bring that down to here. That's what I usually do, or you could do like the diamond thing here. Oh, we still got the thing there. No end guns? Wait, are you calling out my topology while I'm working on it? I'm just gonna split this up a bit. Oh no, there's a triangle there. Oh, you teach your high schoolers no end guns? Awesome. Good work. We can just keep going with this. Oh, you teach computer animation at Oklahoma? Awesome. Yeah, since I've cleaned up like the general topology, then I'll probably just... Actually, I'm gonna do this first. Usually it's easier to add the like the triple edge after you extrude it, so I'll do that. There's like penetration there, but I'll deal with that in a sec. So like when I first start, I don't care too much about like the like penetration with panels and stuff. We can like deal with that stuff later. Like sometimes it might not even be that important, depending on how close it is. Like if it's seen from a distance, it doesn't matter if it penetrates. Why are all the panels separate? Well technically like a panel is a separate piece of metal. So usually we just think of it that way, and it's much easier to deal with as separate panels. I mean, you can merge them back together later if you want, but I find it much easier to deal with them in this way. Like if we want to, triple edge this panel, we can do that in isolation. Yo, it's cool if you ask questions. That's the whole purpose of these things. So when we triple edge the panel like that, and we smooth it, now we can see like a panel line. Like at the very end, you can still recombine it if you really want to. It's not that important though. Oh yeah, I need to triple edge this one first. You love teaching? Yeah, teaching can be pretty fun. I've done teaching a little bit, not too much, but I did like a 2-week course in Denmark at the animation workshop. That was really cool. They flew me out to Denmark to teach for 2 weeks. And yeah, it was a nice little trip. The class was cool. It was a small class, so that was also nice. I personally rather teach like small groups instead of like big classes. Yeah, it's the same. Like these are still n-gons, and these are really easy to fix, but I'll usually do all the beveling and stuff first, and I address that afterwards. Just so I can kind of do it in stages. What's the question, channel? Yeah, learning topology in high school is hard. That's intense. Yeah, it's much easier having, like, it's much easier in general having the panels in the model itself because it makes texture artists' life much easier as well. Like, usually in general, the more information you can put in the model, everyone kind of wins. Oh, this thing? This took like 5 seconds. We kitbashed this. Like this is the thing, right? If you especially if like you have assets on the same film, like say you're working on a film with a variety of like ships, usually like they'd have the same manufacturer, so it would make sense to reuse parts amongst them. That's another way of saving time. Is especially if things have the same design language, you can still like reuse it pretty easily. This one. Yeah, already we got some pretty nice looking paneling. And the best part is we don't even have to preview it smooth, which is cool. We can just see it like this. So you don't model with like a high spec blend or anything to see how it shades? It depends what it is. Like if I like the chance of this vehicle being like a super high spec material isn't I imagine this one to be kind of quite grungy. You can if you wanted to, but it doesn't matter that much because at the end of the day, so at the end of the day, you're gonna do like a proper render of it anyway. Will you be smoothing out the panels? I always wondered how to smooth out being sharp edges. What do you mean by smoothing out the panels? What's a good tip for reducing pinching? You have more edges. That's the only tip you need. You just need more edge loops. Yo, it's getting kind of hot. I'm gonna put the fan on for a sec. Oh, you mean preview smooth? Yeah, we can do that eventually. We're only 3.5 hours into this model so far. So we don't have to worry too much about that stuff. At the moment, we're kind of like setting the groundwork. So yeah, we've already gotten pretty decently far for 3.5 hours, which is cool. If your soup came around and you had this in 3.5 hours, they would probably be pretty happy. Yeah, I'm just taking a lot of the easy stuff, like say for example, I know I can just smooth out super quickly. Okay. Also, don't forget to save it. Yeah, I know it may look kind of fast, but it's just because we kind of did it like efficiently. Like we started with our concept mesh. We had a look through what we could like reuse from the concept mesh, and that's kind of what we had used for the base. And then we kind of looked at things like what can we steal and kitbash with, like stuff like that. So I know it kind of looks really impressive, but it's not that impressive. But it's also good. It's efficient. And efficiency is the main thing you need in the film industry. Because if you sat there and like hand modeled like every tiny small detail, but you never see it, it's not going to help anyone. Oh, whoops. Oh. If you had 3.5 weeks, you'd be pretty happy. Yeah, to be realistic, like this would be much closer to like a. Whoa, there's some pinching there. This would be much closer to like a yeah, 1 month project. It's just convenient that I have parts very similar to what I used on this, just because I happened to build it. So at the moment we just have some paneling, which is very basic and flimsy. I kind of want to have like another support layer underneath it. So what I might do is like steal this bottom section that which was the original before. Go back up. And we can kind of maybe use elements of it. Like something like this would be kind of nice, like just a double layer sort of thing. And it already looks pretty good. We can kind of... Oh, wait, it went too far through. We can kind of get this for free, in a way. Wait, where's face smooth not working? Doesn't too many edge loops make the topology messy? Not exactly. You just have as many edge loops as you need. Oh, I don't like that bevel. So probably what I'd do is just take the bottom faces. We can just use these ones. Having too many edge loops doesn't make something messy. You have the amount of edge loops you need to make the model. Whoops. I will just fill this up. Oh, wrong button. The sub-D pieces are already, yeah. The sub-D parts are already UV'd, which is very convenient. But the problem is, like, there's a lot of them, and we'd have to organize it, and that would be a pain. Are you talking about, like, if we'll do the UVs as well? Yeah, we'll try to do the UVs, but we'll see if we get to it. I kind of want to do the full process on stream. I kind of want to do the full process on stream, or like in video form. So if we get to it in time, cool. If not, we run out of time. Just kind of cleaning up this one. Since this one's kind of under shadow, I don't really care if this is broken up into panels. So we can probably just get away with this just being one big panel. Like doing something like this is also usually another way of easily getting more detail. It's just double paneling things or doing like a double layer. Like don't do it everywhere. It becomes pretty obvious, but it can be pretty handy. Since we're not going to see at the side though, I'm just going to like extrude the edge loops up. And then fix like this sort of stuff. Whole soft contour of a car panel. What are you guys talking about? Hold tab? Yeah, oh, if you guys don't know, tab is the paint selection. Sorry, adding to my question earlier, I always add lines to hold up sharp edges and corners, but end up the whole soft contour of my car panel be sharp too. What do you mean exactly by that? So after your job is done, usually get a lot of model change requests. I mean, what usually happens is like once it's finished, you usually get it like reviewed by the client, and then you'll usually do your changes based on that. You usually won't send it down the pipeline to other people until like it's like ready, or if they need to start doing tests or stuff. Like if they want to start doing rigging tests, you might send them a whip, and they will give you feedback on stuff. Oh, whoops. Also, another way I like of checking if my mesh is broken is just by pressing 3 to preview the smooth, and you can see where edges are kind of not so good. I get rid of this one, this one. You can also select the perimeter and select the inner edge, inner pieces with a command. So what are you talking about? Are you just talking about like to edge loop? Or like to edge loop and delete? Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about? Is there two voices right now? What do you mean two voices? Is my audio okay? What are you guys talking about? My audio is good? Alright. Someone was talking about two of me. I was like, what? Yo, we've been going for an hour, so I'm gonna have a quick like 2 minute break. So like get up and walk around and stuff like that. And I'll be back in like a minute. Yo, what is the secret to hard surface modeling? Yeah, make sure you get up every now and then while you're working, because we sit in front of our computers all the time, so it's always good to like get up and walk around and stuff. I do it quite often, to be fair. Especially people who watch my stream. No, I wander off quite a lot. I do. Yeah, I do it quite a lot. It's good. Like, trust me, like, you don't want to get like back problems and stuff. It's always good to get up and walk around. Yeah, some things. And Yoda, thanks for the follow. So this is probably going to pinch, but in the location that it is, I don't care too much about it. Since it's underneath, it's probably not going to be too... Whoa, what happened there? That's interesting. Oh. Is this inverted? Let's see. Let's just say... normals. No? There's something going on with it. Just to be safe, I'm just going to do this. Creasing? You have used crease tool. Yeah, I use creasing. I use creasing for the like the modeling process, but I don't use creasing as like the final result. I think creasing is a cool tool, but it's not like, let's see if this works. Why is it doing that? That's bizarre. Because it looks fine here. Does this hole get filled? It does. Why does bevel not work? Maybe it will this time. Because that's bizarre. Yeah, so now it's so good. So there's something wrong with the face. I have no idea what was wrong with the face. But it's all good. We are chilling right now. Nah, it wasn't merge verts. They were fine. I just don't know what it is. Maybe a bug of some sort. Oh, this stuff's still inverted. Usually when I work, I turn like when I like the start of the project, I usually have double side lighting on. Where's reverse? Oh, oh, that's right. These normals have to be unlocked as well. So usually when you get like a concept mesh, it might have like funky normals and stuff. So we can just unlock it and soften them. I might do all that now actually. I'm gonna put all these into their own group. Not that one. Or that one. Where did they go? Oh, that was bizarre. Alright, I'll deal with this stuff later then, I guess. How come normals randomly get locked? I noticed it happens randomly from ZBrush to my. I don't think it randomly gets locked. I think it's just when you export the OBJ, it might lock the normals. I think it's also just dependent on like your settings. I don't think they just randomly get locked. I think it might just be based on your export settings. Where's my music on? Your mum is not a software. What are you guys talking about? I swear I split this off. Did I not do this? Oh, it's done now. I'll split here as well. About taking breaks, there's really nice software which reminds me to take them. There is. Stretchy. Yeah, usually like for me, I'll just like go get coffee or like go to the restroom or something, or like, I don't know, stuff like that. It's not good, low quality. Yeah, I feel it kind of happens like that sometimes with everything. Every software, everything. Weird things can happen. Yeah, I'm probably going to focus on the panels today. Get the panels into a pretty good shape. This is something we kind of took. We took this from the concept mesh. Doesn't look that nice really. Poser is the worst. Oh, okay. I haven't used that program for a long time. Um, so I want to make sure this doesn't like penetrate as obviously. So at least there's like a kind of a basic shadow there. Nothing too crazy though. We'll probably need to subdivide it anyway to deal with that curve. Or at the very least, we can probably just use insert edge loop tool and put hold shift, and it will like work out the curve here, which is quite nice. That looks much nicer. So we don't know what the back looks like, so we'll probably have to make up something like for that. I'll probably be pretty. It'll probably be quite simple, I feel. Yeah, the chamfer with the bevel with the chamfer off is so good because it figures out like the corners for you, which is very cool. What we want. The edge slides quite a lot, so we need to add another edge loop in here. That one's sliding a bit too much. Great job on the first stream in the series. I caught the VOD. Good luck with the rest of it. Why, thank you. Yeah, so far it's going pretty strong. For only 3 hours, we have a pretty solid start. So yeah, for the in the near future, every Wednesday and Saturday stream will be this. So it'll be the Autodesk sponsored series for the next 5 weeks, I think. So 10 streams in total. We stole this from the concept mesh, but it's already pretty good. So I might just make this a little bit nicer. We don't need the back. Maybe put in like this, so it's a bit cleaner. This we can like use the base of. That's super wonky though. That's not cool. This is already kind of triple edged for us, which is nice. I mean, it's not a proper triple edge, but honestly, that would probably be okay. I mean, we could probably just merge the verts if we really wanted to. Oh, that's way too much. Something like that. So we have our base again. We can just deal with this one. There aren't many Maya users on Twitch. Yeah, there should be more. Yeah, Autodesk reached out to me and they said they liked what I did and wanted to support. So that is very cool of Autodesk. So the top is pretty flat. That's pretty convenient. Oops. What have people's thoughts on the series been so far? It's funny. I saw a response, a comment saying that because I didn't show the model from scratch, that this the series isn't useful. And I was like, okay. Even though, like, in theory, what I'm showing you guys is kind of what tutorials don't really teach you. Like, I could have just made like another generic modeling tutorial, but I don't think people would really learn anything from that. This is more like a very accurate representation of like what we actually do at work. We don't like model everything from scratch. It's all about getting the job done as fast and efficiently as possible while still maintaining quality. So far, so good. That's good. How much did I bring over? What do you mean, how much did I bring over? These ones. Oh. Oops, missed that one. How much is bought from a different source? Oh, so like we had the concept mesh before. It's hard to explain really. So we had like a basic concept mesh, and we kind of took out the basic shapes and we cleaned them up and made them much nicer. So for example, this was part of the concept mesh, and we took it and we turned it into this top section up here, which is like a sub-D cleaner version of it. So we did that for all the paneling. And as far as like this sort of stuff, we're kind of kitbashing with my my kit. This stuff. So we're going to use this stuff to detail stuff. For example, we know in the back it's kind of empty, so we'll probably like use kitbash elements to kind of like fill it up. So there's like a huge open gap here. We can very easily take like pre-existing kitbash elements and use them for detail to like fill the gap. I don't know, what if we took this thing and turned this into like a grill or something like that? Since it's not, like, since this isn't really in the concept, it's usually up to us to make up this sort of stuff. So we can kind of like, I mean, I'm being super quick here and hacky, but we can kind of, you know, turn this vent looking thing into like a grill, stuff like that. We can take all these elements and like repurpose them in different ways. Where did I get the other items? I made them. So this is my own kit. Yeah, so now we can turn that into potentially like a grill or something like this. So this is like one of the main important things about kitbashing is like, well, is seeing the elements, not necessarily as like the shapes they are, if that makes sense. Like, because this was like an air conditioning unit, but we could turn that into like a grill or something cool like that. Yo, Buffalo, thanks for the follow. Osnog, thanks for the follow. Some things, thanks for the follow. Yeah, this is the whole point necessarily about like this course. Well, it's not a course, but this series is more about like how to work smart and efficient, and like, you know, where to pick your battles, sort of things. Like, for example, we know we're not really going to see the interior that much, or we don't really have the time to. We're going to keep the interior like very basic, things like that. Yo, Screen Sam, thanks for the gifted tier 1. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much. But yeah, I kind of felt like when they asked me to do like a modeling thing, I thought like there's no real point in me just doing like a generic like modeling tutorial from start to finish of like, here's how we make a lamp, like basic stuff like that, because you can find that stuff all over the internet. Like, but what a lot of tutorials don't teach you is like how to work in the industry, and that's necessarily what this is focused on. Yo, Chenable, thanks for the gifted ones, tier 1 sub, man. I appreciate it. We need VFX, more VFX. Sorry, we need more VFX artists on Twitch. Cheers. Yeah, I kind of feel like if you want to learn the basics of modeling, like this isn't necessarily about like the basics of modeling. Like I can go over like some basic like shape stuff, but it's more about like if I was given this and be like, you have like 5 days to make this. It's more about like my mindset of like, okay, what am I going to focus on? Like, where should I invest my time? Things like that. I think we already have this piece. Oh, here it is. How convenient. This is what I mean. Like, if you have like awesome detailed like components like that, you might as well just reuse them. Because also the thing is like if you're doing a personal project at home and you spend all this time modeling this nice detailed complex section here, like you yourself will probably put the camera here and render that, you can show it off. But for us, we have no idea if that's even going to get seen. So it's usually best for us not to spend too much time and stuff like that. Unless, for example, they know they want to put a shot there and they specifically tell you to. Then you might like spend more time there. But we can cheat this. It's just convenient because I happen to have the pieces sub D. So I have like I have a concept version of my kit and a sub-D version of my kit. So I'm just replacing my the concept ones with my sub-D ones, which is convenient. This one's kind of penetrating a bit too much. Oh, we don't need that anyway. Yeah, so this way we wouldn't have to spend any time, but we still have a complex section. Is that the color difference? Yeah, so the color difference is, so originally when we first started, we had the concept mesh. So as you can see, the topology is terrible. All we cared about was the shapes. So what we're doing is we're kind of replacing elements as we go. So that's what the pink is. The pink is like things that are concept mesh. So we haven't replaced them yet. But say for example, I like this and I want to use this, but the topology is actually not too bad. I will take that and I'll just give it like the another shader, just so I know that's not concept meshing. So this is usually the way I work. I have the concept mesh underneath the other thing, so I know, you know, what is completed and what isn't. Yeah, the hype train. Yo, Back's Magical Adventure. Thanks for the prime. I appreciate it. Been a while. Yeah, how you doing, man? Yo, if you guys don't know, we have since we got Twitch partner, which is awesome, we now have more emote slots. So I still have like 6 more emote slots. So if you guys have any ideas, please let me know. If you guys hadn't seen, we now have like the industry standard emote. We have the Dono Cube. We have the Collins Bear. Yo, Screen Stamp. Thanks again for another tier 1, man. I appreciate it. You're being too kind, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Here comes the snail. Yo. So the don't forget the other temple thing we're gonna be making. We'll be doing a shrine to the snail as well. Yo, DJ Brazzy. Thanks for a gifted tier 1. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. Damn, you're all being too generous. Thank you so much. But yeah, usually like when I first start the project, I usually pick the easiest things I can find. Do all the easy stuff first. Like all the easy big shapes. Like don't get too invested in like, I don't know, detailing under here because no one really cares about under here. We need to get like this stuff done first. I don't know what this thing is, but we can still use this. So since I don't like that bevel, like this is what I mean, like this came from the concept mesh. It's pretty terrible topology, but we can still like use it as the base. So like we can take the top face, get rid of this stuff, and we can just kind of recreate it. So it went like that. But also it's floating at the moment, so I'm going to kind of like stick it into this underhang here. And I'm going to push it slightly up. So like, if something visually looks slightly better in like production model, it's usually better to do that. Like a lot of the time we get the concept mesh and they've painted on top of it and changed it anyway. So don't stick too much to the concept mesh. It's meant to just be like a guide. Like obviously like the concept itself takes priority. Um, Props for me. That's alright. I like it. It's not bad. Yeah, I know people definitely have their preferences of like what areas they want to focus on. I feel very comfortable in this program. Yo, we've been streaming for an hour and a half, so I'm gonna get up for another like minute, and I'll be back in a sec. Yo, what are you guys talking about? Yo, Channel, thanks for the gifted sub, man. I appreciate it. Oh, you guys are talking about chairs. We could get we could get my chairs in the moat if you guys want. chair stream. Yeah, Twitch dog. Thanks for the follow as well. Everyone is gifting you Ngons. I might grab these and put these in their own group as well. Because and this one. These ones. That panel is not finished yet. I want to integrate it better with that one. Because in theory, this is going to be the same as the bottom ones. These ones. I might just temporarily do that now, just for the sake of it. You already have the chair. You liked your bachelor for showing what you like. I think having a degree also will help you get visas, which at first I didn't think was really mattered that much, but it totally does. Like having a degree will, oh, this is actually way different. Having a degree definitely helps with the visa process. Like you don't really need a degree to do this job, but it definitely helps. So I know this is kind of a part of a kitbash element, so I might, but I know it's obviously been stretched. I think it's part of this one. We kind of might take this one and kind of disassemble it a bit and use it. There's elements of this here, but it looks like it's been stretched out, so we probably don't want to just straight up stretch it. We need to do it in a nicer way. Yeah, like this happens all the time. If you get a concept mesh and it's got like a stretched thing like this, usually we just replace it with like a nice proper circle. Did I try Moi? Yeah, I've got Moi. It's pretty cool. I learnt it a few years ago and then I just haven't touched it for a while. Man, I was thinking of getting into Unreal. Like getting into game engines might be kind of the future. So I downloaded Unreal Engine 4 today. Ever tried Modo? No, I haven't tried Modo before. I think Modo is also another pretty good program. It's not that common though. I don't really see it that much. Your safest bet for working in the industry is obviously Maya. Because every studio, like VFX studio, uses Maya. Sorry, which piece is this? Oh, it's in the middle. So, let's see. How are we going to do this? I'm probably going to extract like the main elements. Oh, it's also backwards. That would make sense. XSI? I never used XSI. That was before my time. Let's see. So I know these are reused. I want to stretch it in a way that doesn't break the bevel. Like I'm not gonna. The UVs are gonna be screwed, but like I don't want to damage the bevel too much. So it's probably easier just to manually pull verts. Like that. It is going to clash into itself though, which is going to be a problem. So we'll probably have to clean that up later. But for now, we probably won't worry about that sort of stuff. Oh, it's actually a different angle. Okay. Yeah, this isn't good. We won't leave it like this, but it'll be fine for now. Go Calamati and Hazel Golem. Thanks for follows. Breakdance. Oh, no. I took all that. I took all like a. So for people usually on the stream, usually you can spend your Ngons to make me do things like handstands and headstands and stuff like that. But I'm not going to be doing headstands during a Autodesk sponsored stream. So don't worry, that stuff will come back eventually, but not for these streams. Yeah, no, I enjoy doing that stuff. It's fun. This isn't going to be end of the world if I stretch this bevel. The main thing is I don't want to damage the circles. For stuff like this, if the circle is in a slightly different spot, it's not usually the end of the world. I'm not going to worry about it for this one. So we're using like very similar elements, which already exist to save time, pretty much. Like if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter too much. And if you get feedback to make it higher, then you can just make it higher. What are you talking about? When you're putting your bashes together, is it okay to have clipping and the like? It depends. It depends entirely on how it's seen. Like, of course, if you see something close, it's always better to have like the insets and stuff like that. But if no one's gonna see it, or the camera's gonna be further away, it doesn't matter as much. It's usually based on the context of what it is. Oh, it's actually inverted. So is every stream in the series going to be this mesh? Yeah, it will be. We're going to be trying to finish this whole ship in 30 hours. When in reality, you would probably get three to 4 weeks. We're going to be trying to doing it in less than 1 week. It's pretty intense. I think we might get away with scaling this. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, we're going to be focusing on this one the whole time. If anything, like we might do the UVs, but that's a big maybe. Oh. So we don't need the bottom bit. Yeah, I'm not really focusing on my Patreon at the moment, just because I don't really have the time to do everything at once. Like we did start a Patreon and it was pretty cool, but I just don't have the time to do Twitch, Patreon, like this sponsored stream, like working, like obviously full-time job, all that sort of stuff. Don't have time for everything. Maybe one day it could come back, but for now it's just like chilling for a bit. So yeah, we're kind of just repeating the Kitbash process, but we have obviously bad sections like this, but we fix that later. We kind of just want like, we want the volume there. Oh, wrong one. We want to get the volume in as soon as possible, and then we can do like refinements later. Because even if like, say for example, hypothetically we don't get the time to clean this up, it still will probably look okay from a distance, which is better than spending all this time making this look nice and then the rest of the ship doesn't exist. So we can always come back to that sort of stuff later. So yeah, even if you do like modify pieces, it's always better to start with a base of something that already exists if it's going to save you time. Like I know like we could have just rebuilt these, but it's just much faster just to use elements of this instead. Yo, what's up? But yeah, if people are interested, my this sub D kitbash is for sale. You can pick it up on my my Gumroad with a bunch of other kitbash kits. Yeah, so we have open areas like this. Once again, we can worry about that sort of stuff later. At the moment, we kind of just want to block out the volume. If like these don't line up perfectly, that probably doesn't matter either. Maybe we can make it a bit better though. How do you come up with the ideas for kit parts? Usually look at reference of like for example, I looked at, oops, like you know how in car factories they have like robots that do a lot of the manufacturing now. Like I looked at like that and found reference for that stuff. So like a lot of these little pieces were like little tiny caps and details on real robots. Stuff like this. If people have seen oh, I'm going blank. What is it? Cowboy Bebop. This is actually the console of their aircraft. So I thought that was a cool shape and copied it. Same with these. These are like this one and this one are like air conditioning units. But I thought that looked cool. I think anime has lots of really cool like shapes that you can take and turn into realistic objects, I think. Don't try and concept everything. No, I never think you should try and concept anything anyway, regardless of what you're doing. Like you should always gather reference from the real world. Like even the most like hardcore sci-fi stuff is always like based on real world stuff. Like even if we want to add a detail or we want to do some damage pass or something, we usually have to show, not show, but actually a lot of time we do have to show like the reference of what we were trying to achieve. Like if you just try and make stuff up, you can kind of usually tell. Especially the supervisors. The supervisors can usually tell as well. Like they'll want to see your reference of what you tried to do. Just fixing those circles. This whole section, I'll probably just grab it and just shove it in there. Just to, you know, fill this gap. Like this little chunk here is quite nice. So even though it's not going to be like literally exactly what's in here, it's kind of close enough that people will probably not question it either way. So it's not going to be exact, but as long as it has like the same feel. So that's usually the main thing we try and achieve. We try and like bring across the feel of the concept instead of matching everything perfectly, unless we obviously need to, but Since I have gaps there, I might just simply grab like this, just duplicate it, scale it up, and use it as kind of like a back section, just to block the to block this gap up. Scale up a bit. Oh, actually, it's quite visible from the other side. Okay, maybe we could like make a feature then. Something like this could be kind of cool. Then maybe we can have some cool big tanks or something like that. I don't think in the concept you can't really see anything under there, so in that sort of situation, that's when we kind of have the liberty of like figuring out what it is. So usually when I fill gaps like that, I usually fill it up with something big first as like the general, like the major eye grabbing component, and then I cover it with like details instead. So we can do that maybe. So this is Mac. Yeah, as you can see, this isn't perfect. It's still quite kitbashy and thrown together at the moment, but it's kind of like getting there. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, usually when it comes to filling gaps, I usually try and don't model. Like if there's a section that doesn't actually matter and no one really cares what it is, I usually try not to actually model it because it usually doesn't matter. So I would always try and find like a kitbash element to just like, for example, we have like an opening here. Like you could probably just simply grab this again, shove this back in here, just fill that gap really quickly, easily. And it already kind of, I mean, it punches through a bit there, but it already kind of looks like it fits. I mean, don't go too crazy with the kitbash stuff, but it's nice for filling gaps. Didn't I start in the kitchen of a studio? Yeah, I started as a runner, cleaning kitchens for NPC, and then I pretty much sat there until they gave me a job as a model. I forced my way in. I didn't take a no for an answer. Yeah, so as you can see, we already have like a pretty strong, solid model. I mean, the bottom's basic, but that's cool. We can worry about that later. We already have like a pretty strong base. I like that negative space actually. But that's not part of the concept. The concept has stuff there, so we need to follow that one. I actually kind of like the negative space. If I was redesigning this, I would probably leave the gaps. That'd be kind of cool. I found a different way in. I don't think there's any real like defined way of how to get into the industry. Like everyone gets in through different methods. There's no real like this is the way you must go to get in. Oh. Yo, Big Boss and Kane and Calamari, thanks to follow. And Hazel Golem, thanks to follow as well. You see I have my own kitbash. Yeah, I make my own kitbash. I also sell my own kitbash on my Gumroad if people were interested. We have a command for that. Is it kitbash? all the snails in the chat. Awesome. Do you study mechanical engineering or anything like that? No, I don't. I just make everything up. That's the thing in VFX. We just need to make it look cool. And to make things look cool, we have to make them look like they work. And to make them look like they work, we just have to look at reference. So I think that's a pretty good general idea for if you want to get in this industry, like study the real world and how things actually work. And even though I have no idea what any of this stuff actually is, you can kind of throw it together in a way that looks like it works. Just because I looked at reference of like, jet engines and stuff like that. What you mean if you really want to get in and keep getting rejected, there's nothing wrong with finding another way in. Oh yeah, for sure. Just keep pushing your face against the wall until it eventually comes down. That's the key to breaking in. It's you just have to push them, push them until you get in, but don't push too hard. Don't piss people off. That's a whole other thing though. Then your face will be like Melly. Yeah, it's a fine balance. Like you don't want to annoy people, obviously, but at the same time, you do kind of want to, let people know what's up. Peep. I might actually fill the whole gap. Also, taking rejection with grace and help get a job later. Yeah, if you get rejected, you don't want to create a scene. That's possibly the worst thing you could do. Yeah, definitely don't create a scene. I know this might sound really weird, but to be the best modeler you can, I feel you should model the least amount you can. I know that might sound weird, but try and model the least amount you can. Oh, I need to undot. Okay, I kind of don't like that bit at the bottom. Maybe we can up a bit. I mean, we'll cover it with GAC. That will definitely help the transition much nicer. Stops modeling. Starts making the best models ever. What do I mean by that? It means don't spend your time modeling everything. Like, can you guys imagine if we took the original concept mesh and we tried to recreate everything from scratch? We would maybe have gotten like this done and maybe some of this, but instead we have all of this because we used elements of the concept mesh to our advantage. We took pre-existing parts we know we can use and we just use them. That's what I mean. Like there's no point in modeling a pipe if you can just steal this pipe and it'll do the same thing for you. But in saying that, you need to be able to model first. Like don't do this. Don't do this until you can actually model. This is how to save time in the industry, not how to model. Wondering how this looks. Actually, oh, so we have two of these big pipes. So yeah, there's no point in modeling that pipe because we know we can just grab this one here and and modify it. Scale it up a bit, make some adjustments, and already we get the pipe for free. That's exactly what what it means by model the least amount you can. How to self-project manage? Yeah, that's one of the key things to working in industry is like time management. Like knowing how to invest your time in the right things, stuff like that. What else is here? Whoa, what is this piece? Pretty cool piece though. So for me, I usually try and get the easier stuff out first. Just get that out of the way. For example, this one's going to be annoying to model. It's not going to be hard, it's just going to be annoying. But like this is much easier. So we can get a lot of mileage with like the kitbash stuff. Like I already know that piece is there. We can just take it. Yeah, like imagine having to model that piece. Or we could just simply grab this and put it here. And you're already done. And then what's even better is you go to your UV editor and you've already got UVs for it. We're already much closer. Yeah, that's kind of what this this series is about. It's not necessarily like a modeling tutorial or anything like that. It's more about like how to work smarter and investing your time in what matters. Be lazy, boys. If you can't time manage yourself, you'll be putting in OT because you have to, not because the students force you to. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you can't manage your time and you tell the people that you can get the work done faster, and you don't get the work done, you yourself will feel guilty and like put in extra work, and then yeah, that's not good. It looks like the bottom is the same at the top, so that's super convenient. So grab this one. Also, don't forget to save it. And incrementally save as well. Like you don't want to corrupt your file and then your supervisor comes around for like dailies or something and you've lost like a day of work. UV can be painstakingly long. Sometimes. I think UVing efficiently is also a thing to cover. Knowing when you should invest your time doing good UVs. Like a lot of the Greeble stuff you can usually get away with pretty basic or not so clean UVs. Yeah, once again, probably just take this one, shove it down under here. When is the next stream? It'll be on Saturday. So, I mean, I might stream at other times, doing other things, but as far as the Autodesk streams go, they are always going to be Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific time and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time as well. So the reason I do the two different times is this one accommodates more for the US and the what's it called, the Saturday weekend one accommodates more for the EU. So we can hit like multiple different people. So it's not just one group getting to see it live. But yeah, don't forget, everything will be uploaded to YouTube anyway, so it's all good. Mac. Damn, these streams go so much faster because I'm trying much harder. like my usual streams kind of just dawdle along sort of thing, but this, we're already 2 hours through the stream. It's kind of crazy. So there's no, on the concept mesh, there's nothing here, but we can probably assume we can just use the top on the bottom. Take yourself a break. Oh yeah, we've been going for 2 hours. So I'm going to get up for a minute and we'll be back in a sec. God damn it, Chernobyl. You were misled by the title? Oh no, this is my own personal project, but it's a simulation of what it's like to work in the industry. So we're recreating a concept mesh within limited time with a tight deadline, pretty much. So it's kind of a simulation of what I would do if I was to be given this brief to make this vehicle. So yeah, as I go along, I kind of just knock out sections of the concept, pretty much. Yo, no worries. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, BLMRS, Big Boss, and Kane. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, feel free to ask questions. The whole point of this is to be educational. I really dislike that paneling, actually. I'm gonna make the creative decision to change this. So sometimes that might happen, like the concept might look a bit strange. Like this happens not a decent amount, but like not everything done in 2D translates into 3D. I think it would look much nicer if the panel like flowed flowed more like that. Yo, how's it going? You thought my music has been super on point, then you realized it was your own Spotify. Yeah, man, I know your tastes. Nah, because it's a stream sponsored by Autodesk, we don't obviously have the rights to music, so we're not having music, and we're also uploading this stuff to YouTube, so it would kind of suck if it got copyright striked. So we're keeping it music free, and just focusing on the lovely sound of my voice. There's another big piece in there. So when you're kit bashing stuff, I think it's always important to have like big iconic pieces, like a big pipe or a big cap or something, to kind of make it not as busy. Because if everything is the same scale, then it becomes a bit too, just becomes too much of a blur. Would it still be copyright infringement if I sang myself? I don't think so, because technically you would be transformative of the thing. I can't sing though, so that's not happening. Channel, do you want to sing for us? you can you can provide the music. Okay, so we're missing some pipes and stuff there. I might just take these ones. So you obviously do this as well. Try and reuse as much as you can of your own ship. Or of your own asset, I mean. Oh, way too small. I'm gonna make it fit nicer. I kind of just want to get the general like scale for now. And since we kind of have like a pretty good coverage of this, what I'll probably do is straight up just delete. Oh, we need this. Straight up just delete the stuff we don't need. Pull that one out. So we still haven't finished like filled the gaps, but we have the general idea all fleshed out. So I'll probably just straight up just go and delete this. Cool. There you go. Obviously there's a gap here, we can just fill that with another thing later. But the general space is full right now. You thought I was gonna sing? Yeah, no chance. My Australian accent would just butcher any song. People are doing song requests? Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, we need to do a collab. We'll get Crimson on. Crimson can do... Crimson can provide vocals for you guys. That would be hilarious. Oh, my music has stopped again. But yeah, we'll probably go for... We've been going for 2 hours and 11 minutes, so we'll probably go for 50 more minutes. That would be great. You never heard of an Australian rapper? For good reason. What is this big piece? I don't know if we're really going to see this from underneath. I'm going to just guess no. There's a bit of a weird bump like that, which isn't cool. So to get rid of that, I'm just simply going to get rid of the edge loops. And then come back, and then just put them back in again. That's usually how I do like straightening of things. I just delete the edge loops and just add them back again. Andrew has some roots in hip hop. I mean, just because I break, but what I also might start doing is I might start working in like just not a gray model anymore. So like for example, we know from the concept. Why did I make it red? It looks so dumb. Whatever. We have to follow the concept. We'll make some red paneling. I might use a blend shader for this though. Since like more of the concept mesh is starting to disappear, this is when I'll start doing things like working on like, actually, let's make this one red paint. We're kind of transitioning out of the concept mesh into like, you know, the good model. And I don't like just looking at a gray model. So this does help with that. I don't want that one to be red, so paint. What else is red on this? Oh, it's all red. And this is grey. Alright. Like no one wants to just look at grey stuff all the time. So I do usually apply materials based roughly on whatever it is. Jesus, what are you guys talking about? God, you guys are rapping in the chat? Jesus. Maybe it's for the best I don't have the chat on the stream. This one I might do like a painted black. I mean, this sort of stuff does help. Paint. This sort of stuff does help when it comes to like what am I saying? When it comes to doing like naming conventions. Oh yeah, we have to do naming conventions. We can go through that as well. I might actually do that. Make all of this painted black. Oh, wrong one. So we can still kind of see what is concept mesh, but we're kind of getting closer to a representation of like what the final result will be. Oh yeah, and then we can, you know, make stuff gray that needs to be gray. My street name. Yeah, Hodgie is my nickname, but I've been like people haven't like since I got into VFX, I stopped using my name. Yeah, for my whole childhood, I was usually called Hodgie. Like even my high school teachers called me Hodgie, stuff like that. Yeah, also like these materials, it's not like we're not doing like actual shaders or anything like that. It's more just for like, it's more just for as I'm working. It just is nicer to look at. And it helps me kind of see roughly what it's going to look like. Like I can see where the kitbash elements are going to be and the paneling will be, stuff like that. So it just makes it much nicer to work on instead of just looking at gray boxes all the time. Already, oh, I need to fix that obviously. But already that looks kind of cool. And if you do need to view it, you can always just go shading, use default material, and that will make it gray anyway. So then you can just look at it and then turn the default material back off again. It's a bit too dark though, let's make it different. Something like that's probably nicer. But yeah, I usually don't work in like symmetrical mode or whatever that is. I usually just duplicate my groups across when I just want to check it out. Oh, we have rubber as well, don't we? So let's make a Lambert, call this one rubber. Yo, how's it going? It's funny, I get so much more work done. The you know, the less time I spend reading chat. You're a distraction, chat. I'm blaming the chat like Crimson. But yeah, after like, so how long have we been going for? We've been going for 5 hours now. And already we have a pretty solid base. I mean, of course, we don't have any hierarchy. Like, for me, in this stream, I'm going to prioritize hierarchy over UVs. We might do UVs. This looks kind of terrible though. We might do UVs, but I want to prioritize hierarchy first. Is there, what is the back? The back looks like that. This kind of doesn't make sense. Hierarchy, can I explain? Oh, just grouping. Like the sort of stuff I have at the moment. Mine, like at the moment, mine's pretty basic. I have like L panel, L rubber, L detail, stuff like that. We can do like proper nice hierarchy of how I would do it. And then maybe we can do UVs. Maybe. The fact that so much of the Kitbash stuff is already UV'd is a massive plus. Like that's not going to be the hard part. It's going to be more organizing everything. Just because there's so many components. Like this, just this one group here is this. That's a lot of stuff to organize. And also we need to make the scale consistent. Some of the things we scaled up, scaled down, so we have to make them consistent with each other. All that sort of stuff. But we'll worry about that later maybe. How does it benefit you having a proper hierarchy structure? It just keeps it organized and clean. Like say for example, if I wanted to select all the kitbash, because okay, usually what happens is I'll do my UVs based on hierarchy, or based on like what the material is. So say for example, we want to do all the paneling together with the UVs. I can simply just select all the paneling, and like off we go. So that's like hierarchy. Aside from obviously for movement of stuff, if it's a static object like this, the hierarchy still helps because it makes my life easier to do UVs, to do model updates, stuff like that, because it's just organized and clean. So that's why hierarchy is cool. And I think if you can show hierarchy as a student, that's also another like little, you know, pat on the back you get. Like you're not going to be hired based on your hierarchy, but it shows you have production thinking. How many hierarchies are there for transformers? Do you mean like, what is the hierarchies like? I mean, the usual sort of method is like this is just a general sense. Like say for example, you had usually you would you would group like objects within objects of things that have to move. How many levels? I have no idea. I mean, that's depends entirely on the place. Any place to see a good, clean example of a production level hierarchy on this stream? We're going to be doing that eventually. We're going to be having. I'm going to be finishing this as an asset. If we get the UVs done or not, that's another big thing. But we'll see, maybe. Actually, to be fair, maybe it might be a good idea to do the UVs. If I did a little bit of it off stream, that might not be too bad. Because it would be a nice like collection, having like this is like a finished product. You're loving the work? Cheers, thanks. Glad people enjoy this sort of content. Put that in the L group. As far as hierarchy goes, firstly it's different in every studio, and then every artist does it differently as well. So like every single artist will do their hierarchy differently, but as long as it's within the same general conventions, it's not a problem. Like it's more the conventions have to be the same. Like for example, the way you name your materials. Do you know of any program that lets you manage and use a Kitbash library between multiple software? I don't think that's a thing. Yeah, so I don't think that's even a thing. All the softwares don't talk to each other that much. Will it all be poly or will we use some trim sheets? Everything is poly. In film we don't use trim sheets. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. What is that? Oh, it's part of that. Yeah, in film we don't have the limitations of games, so we just make everything model. This is for production? It is for production. Normally don't use this. I mean, we do use displacement maps. Displacement is pretty common, but you would use displacement maps more for like really fine details or like things like damage and stuff. Lighting artists will hate you for that. Wait, what will lighting artists hate me for? Like, it makes a texture artist's job much easier if you give them a model that's good. Yo, Seventh Wonder and Dave and Instincts Oz, thanks to the follows. And Emilu, thanks to the follow as well. Okay, but EXP Mini, what you're explaining is a bad modeler. So there is a difference. I mean, I know a lot of people like that as well that add detail for the sake of detail that doesn't add anything. That's not good. That's completely different as well. We don't have limitations. Compared to games, we don't have limitations. I mean, like, yeah, we can go pretty crazy. Like, I know people that have made like 4 billion poly carpets because they can. Like with things like Clarice and stuff like that, they can go pretty crazy. Oh, this is a pipe. Okay. So we can probably just kitbash that pipe. It's kind of funny, like you don't really need many of like an object. Like you don't need too many pipes if you really think about it. Oops. Oh, it's going the wrong way, isn't it? I agree with that statement. I hate getting this models. The worst yet is when I get a model that someone rips from a game all triangulated crap. Expecting me to... Yeah. That's the thing, alright? Like, also, it's much better to get like... Say for example, you need to have these high-res vehicle. It's much better that the modeler models the panels because it makes texturing's life much easier. Instead of them having to do the panels. So this mesh is pretty bad, and I don't think it's something we can really salvage. So in this case, this is when I would straight up just rebuild something. Like a lot of the stuff we did earlier, we kind of could just take the concept mesh and reuse it. But this one is obviously different. We're going to have to rebuild this one. And depending on the complexity of the model, sometimes it's not even worth like copying it 100%. As long as you get like the general feel, it's usually okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So even though that doesn't line up perfectly, it's still fine. Oh, but it's curved on the top as well. I mean, it depends what it is. Depends on the client. Depends how picky they are with this sort of stuff. A lot of the time, this stuff is usually not too bad. So something like that's probably fine. We can get rid of that. But when it comes to this sort of stuff, I usually just block out first. Like, I'll probably just leave this as it is for now. That will penetrate a bit, so it might be cooler just to like drop that down a bit. How do you even get 4 billion polys through a pipeline? It doesn't have to go through the pipeline. It was in Clarice. Yo, so we've got it's 2:30. We got 30 more minutes, and then we'll probably wrap up the stream for today. That was quick. We've been going for 2.5 hours. The streams are all 3 hours long. That's pretty long. That's alright. I mean, while we were grinding for Twitch Partner, we were doing like 6 to 8 hour streams. That was intense. That that wasn't super enjoyable. But we got Twitch Partner in the end, so thank you very much to everyone that helped and supported. We got it in the end, which is super awesome. I never thought we'd be able to get Twitch Partner, but we did. So yeah, thank you very much everyone that tuned in for the last year. We did it. Yeah, Partner is quite hard to get. It's definitely a grind. I definitely had to I know it sounds bad, revolve my life around it. Like streaming at the most like optimal times and stuff like that. Which is not fun. I'm more English, I'm Australian. How dare you? Yeah, Aris, thanks for the tier 1, I appreciate it. You're coming for the gold cube? We've got a few gold cubes now. And we have 13 emote slots as well now. You're trying to do French and English. Oh, I get you, I get you. I thought you were mistaking me for British. Because I do not sound British. But I'm also part British, so that's alright. So I've got Australian and British passports, and I also have Canadian permanent residency now. I'm on my path to collecting the Commonwealth. I sound a bit British. I mean, I did live in London for like 2.5 years, but I don't think I'm too British. So since we don't see these that much, I'm just kind of blocking out the general shapes. I probably won't bother modeling that detail in because you're not going to see it. This is also like another thing I'm talking about. Like, even though we can see that detail, no one else probably will. So we're not going to like waste our time on that. We're just going to model like what we know for sure is going to be visible. 3 passports? I don't think I can get 3. I think you can only have 2, right? That'd be kind of funny though. I usually do, for the corners, I usually do like 3 segments or 2 segments. I mean, it's usually the easiest to like deal with. So something like that's fine. So even though we kind of did lose detail by rebuilding that, it's fine. Like, no one's really going to see a lot of that stuff anyway. But the general shapes will still be the same. Since that is kind of penetrating, it might probably be easier to push that. I mean, I don't like these in general, actually. Or maybe I might just take them off. But the silhouette is kind of nice. I might kind of make a creative decision. Like, sometimes we might do this. Especially if you don't really see it in the concept. Like, it is kind of nice having that shape. But maybe it might look cooler if it was something else. Like, I don't know, if we had something that kind of like did something like this maybe. So like we'll do this sort of stuff. Like if it's not in the concept, but we might see it, we can kind of make like do stuff like this. Because we still get like the nice cool silhouette. We still respected like that angle, but it's also now this isn't connecting to this, so these can actually move properly, stuff like that. And already it looks kind of cool. So, you know, we'll do this sort of stuff sometimes. Like if it's a very obvious prominent feature, we probably won't do it, but you can't really see it, so it's not really that big of a deal. But we're still respecting the silhouette change, which is nice. And it also makes our life easier. So that also helps. Black. Put this all back into the mech. So I do this every now and then as well. I'll just slightly brush up my hierarchy. If you're kind of getting bored or a bit tired or burnt out, what I like to do is do some cleanup. Like just do hierarchy stuff. That way you're still being productive, but you're getting a break. You're not doing your intensive modeling anymore. That's also kind of why I like doing UVs. I kind of think it's too thick. I might tone that down a bit. Yeah, I think it's too thick now. I'll tone it down. I'll probably just grab some of these verts and pull them this way. It is pretty cool though. Yeah, maybe we can revisit the concept mesh and remove things we don't need anymore. You got 3? That's pretty cool. Yeah, we can delete the stuff we don't see. Like that penetration is not the end of the world. I might just leave that. Maybe have a little thruster there to fill the gap. The cockpit is right here though, so I'd rather not put that there. I think 3 might be over the top. And also something like a thruster would be like another source of light, which kind of would be a too big of an obvious addition, where just throwing some gack in there would probably be the easiest, most subtle way of dealing with it. Like another, this might be too many thrusters if it's 3. But we can probably just grab something here and throw it in the back and just call it done. Like even just using this piece again. The main thing is you just don't want them to be next to each other. Then it's really obvious you're just using the same thing. But we could probably just use this as like an engine sort of thing. Yo, Luao? Thanks for the follow. Sure, I kind of butchered that a bit. I mean, obviously everything penetrates, but we can deal with that in a bit. Maybe we can stick it out a bit. I don't know, personally I'd rather do something symmetrical, so I might put more thought into that later. But yeah, so we have 20 more minutes left. So if people have any more questions, please shout out before we wrap up for today. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay. Oops. Is this, what color is this? Oh, it's red. Okay. Yeah, Lil Rod Burner, thanks for the follow. Yeah, how have you guys been feeling about the series so far? Probably take this out. It's going great. Awesome. It's so funny because like people are gonna look at this and be like, "Oh, look at all this amazing detail," but we all know it's all kitbashed, and that is how we work in production. Maybe we can just scale this. You think some song requests will enhance the stream experience? Do you mean song requests from you, Venable? I'm always down to hear your singing. Yeah, we need to figure out what goes on here, and obviously this bit. So this happens quite a lot. We'll have to manually, well, not manually, but we'll personally have to figure out problems like this. This, oh, that's pretty bad. I think I have a piece that looks like that though. We can just steal it. Or was I wrong? Oh, here it is. What happened to the music? We can't have music because the stream is sponsored and we have to own everything that we use. Which is also why I picked my own concept art for this, was because we need to own the rights to everything that's on the stream. So that's why we have no music, we have my own concept, and we have my own models. So for example, we're not using external kitbashes or anything like that, we're just using everything that I own. Which is very convenient that we have all this stuff good to go. Another mech. What if I didn't have my own concept? I don't know. Luckily, we do have our own concept. I would probably have to pay someone to use their concept and get the rights to use it. Oh, that's going to be an annoying little dip there. Should have opted for the SDF1. What, build the SDF1 in like 30 hours? That would not happen. We can probably get away with this stuff actually. Ugh. Going black for some reason. Oh yeah, so this is rubber, isn't it? Oh yeah, when you do aircraft and things with glass, don't forget to have a rubber seal. It always makes it's like free detail pretty much. Is my concept a painter over the model? So my original concept was like a 40-minute kit bash, and then like 20 minutes of pretty much just like applying basic shaders and drawing panel lines and stuff like that. It was pretty basic. Outsourced to chat. What have you been missing? Speed. Was it 3D modeling speed run? I mean, that's pretty much what we're kind of doing right now. We're trying to get this done as fast as possible within very, very limited time. You give you a glass thickness or just a single plane? I usually do thickness. So at the moment it's a plane, but because we stole it from the concept mesh, so the concept mesh was much more like heavier than this. So we mesh reduced it and then we're going to extrude it in. Because like everything has to be based on realism, and glass in the real world has thickness. so we have thickness to it. So in VFX, we try and simulate the real world. That's the main key. Oh, that's right. We have to do this again. Unlock normals. Yeah, so that is usually the key with VFX. We try and simulate the real world. Is this going to be textured in the end? I don't have time to texture it, but maybe someone else could texture it. I mean, I don't know how to texture either, so I don't know what I. Oh, what's this? Yeah, I can't texture, but I want to get into Substance and get into Unreal Engine maybe. All this stuff we can probably get rid of as well, I feel. Not all of this, we still need some of this to replace. Like these. But yeah, this is my general workflow so far. I mean, not so far, but for my day job, I will just start replacing sections and we end up with something quite decent so far. Andrew to video game confirmed? Not necessarily. It's maybe expanding my skills and preparing if things do go to real time. Okay, so this penetrating here isn't cool. Maybe we can move that here. Get rid of that. Oh, I moved the wrong one. Something that's probably a bit better. Doesn't really add anything. Probably get rid of that. So we do have like an open area here. We'll probably like kitbash stuff in. The bottom, I'm kind of tempted to. I don't. So when I designed this thing, I kind of thought it would be more like a sort of like a racing vehicle. So it probably wouldn't really come that far off the ground. So for the bottom, we can probably be pretty basic with it. So this was the general idea when I designed this vehicle. It was more for like a racer. So for the bottom, we'll probably keep it pretty basic. Even something like this, we probably can get away with just having this all as one panel, just because we know no one's really going to see this one. So this was from the concept mesh. So I'm just going to do the same thing I always do. We're just going to extract elements of it. What are we doing? The piping and engine detail is sick. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely getting there. Good. Next, Nox. Thanks for the follow. Don't know why it's slowing down a bit. Don't know what's special about this one panel. Maybe try recreate the bottom of a racing car. That's the thing, right? In theory, you could spend a lot of time designing something that the client never really asked for. So say for example, the bottom of this was never really designed and it was never really briefed to see the bottom of it. It's probably not best to invest too much time like coming up with that sort of stuff. What are we doing? If they do add like extra stuff on the bottom and suddenly the client wants to see it, the client will probably have to, justify an upres or something like that. Just tuning in, how's it going? Like, a heads up, like, just because you finish an asset at work doesn't necessarily mean like the asset's done. Like plenty of times we'll maybe like the shots will change and we might need to come back and update models. That's why having like being organized, like good hierarchy, good UVs is always important because it makes updating the mesh much easier. So we like because okay, I'm the client at this moment. So I don't really intend to show the bottom, so I'm going to keep the bottom pretty simple. But if, say, for example, I don't know, we decide to change the shots later and we do need the bottom, we can always just come back and refine the bottom. Am I using tab key for polygon selection? Yeah, the paint thing, yeah. Yeah, so like when you're at work, you can kind of apply all these, oh, it'd be cool if this happens and this looks like this. But if you don't really have the time or budget or even need for that, it's usually best to keep it simple, like as simple as you can. So because I know people probably won't really see this panel, we can probably have this all as one panel. And no one would ever know. Do you do concept work? I feel I've worked on something of yours. Your name sounds very familiar. I work in props. Okay, so there's another Andrew Hodgson in film. And I know who you're talking about. There's an Andrew Hodgson in concept, but that's not me. Yeah, there's another Andrew Hodgson. But when you Google Andrew Hodgson, I come up first on IMDb, and that's all that matters. You feel bad for the other guy. No, it's funny because like yeah, someone was like, "Oh, Andrew, I saw you worked on Beauty and the Beast." I was like, "I didn't fucking work on Beauty and the Beast." Yeah, the funniest thing is, me and this other Andrew Hodgson, we both worked on Solo. So we both worked on the same film. So technically my name is in the credits twice. That's kind of funny. I cloned myself. Yeah, so we got 7 more minutes and then we'll wrap up the stream. That's so funny. Yeah, the guy lives in the UK, I think. Kitbashing for Beauty and the Beast? I know, right? There's not many spaceships there. Okay, so I want to check out something really quickly. Hopefully my computer doesn't explode. I'm going to import the last one we did. See how much progress we made in the next 3 hours. Cool. Get out of there, man. Yeah, any last questions? We have 5 more minutes. So oh shit. I totally accidentally grabbed that group as well. Yeah, in general we've come pretty decently for 3 more hours. We've added some blocking on the back, added a lot more of the detail and stuff in here. We made all this stuff proper paneling now. Added some dev. Yeah, in 3 hours we've already made pretty solid progress. So we have 8 more streams of this. So we'll try and finish it in that time. Next stream is on Saturday, yes. So, yep. So we're gonna be doing 3 hours more to go. Nah, we've still got another. We've only used 6 hours of the 30. We've still got 24 hours left. Ship looks great. You're trying to get more into polymodeling. I primarily use CAD and ZBrush. That's awesome. I mean, if you just do concept stuff, there's no. I don't know. I mean, you can do more polymodeling, but you don't have to do production ready stuff. I deleted the kit. No, the kit's still here. I imported. I was just hidden it. Over here. All I did was import the end of last stream to see how far we've come in this stream. We come a pretty decent amount. Yeah. Any... Oh, Jake? Jake in Berlin? Thanks for the follow. Yeah, we'll be back again on Saturday at 12 Pacific time, lunchtime, to continue. And yeah, on Wednesday it's the same time. Do you use your own Kitbash at work? No. No, I don't want to. You wouldn't be able to get your stuff in there anyway, and it's always best to keep that stuff separate. Like work have their own stuff, and you have your own stuff. Like it's better not. You obviously can't take their kit. That's definitely bad. But there's no point bringing your kit to work either. It was great to be able to catch a stream a reasonable hour. Yeah, man. Now we've got partner. Now I can go back to choosing my own stream times. So don't worry, man. We'll be doing more streams at this time. You can't find the other Andrew Hodgson? I'll find it for you, man. Trust me. There's another Andrew. We can end the end the stream with 2 Andrew Hodgsons. So here's me. No, that's him. Fuck, I'm getting confused. This is him. And this is me. See? There's 2 of us. See, we both worked on Solo. I think that's so funny. It's so funny because he worked on all of the films that NPC did. But I was at the studio when all these were being done, but I just didn't work on them. That was kind of funny. No, I have no idea who this guy is. Like, we have nothing to do with each other. It's just I just noticed that we have the same credits. He knows about me too? I have no idea. I've never spoken to this guy, I know. Maybe it's an Andrew from the future that came back to do concept work. He realized film production wasn't the way. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We damn, we still have 80 people hanging around. Let's find someone to raid. Glasses back on. Yeah, take it easy. Does anyone have any recommendations of who we should raid? Maybe we can go check out D-Max. Yeah, D-Max is always pretty chill, dude. Oh, Vex? I've never raided this Vex guy. Maybe we'll check him out. We'll mix it up a bit. Let's check out what's his name? Vex. Vex Effects? Alright, let's check him out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget, we'll be back here on Saturday for the yeah, for the next stream. Take it easy, everyone. I'll catch you all later.